Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. As you can see, I'm in the city today. I really wanted to try to film a video outside for you. So I'm in the park and I hope it's not too loud. I'm probably gonna finish the video inside, but I just wanted to start here outside because that's kind of like a little bit our tradition, right? So today I want to talk to you about the topic of self-sabotage and falling back and what that means and all the things. So usually people talk a lot about this idea of self-sabotage, and I really believe it doesn't actually exist. When we think of this idea of self-sabotage or holding ourselves back or whatever, you know, I think you have your own version of that. We all kind of do. It's not really about you sabotaging yourself, not in a way that you want to do harm to yourself, you know. It's more about you having two different opinions within you, and they are sort of at odds with each other. So that means one part of you wants one thing and another part of you is not in union with that. So there's like an internal dispute or an internal separation, and that's why it seems to you like self-sabotage. For example, if you want to do one thing but then you lay on the couch and watch Netflix all day, or you want to save money and then you spend it all on clothing, or you want to start your business but then you distract yourself. So distraction and self-sabotage are just signs that you may be dysregulated. And as you're dysregulated, you may not feel safe enough or in sync or aligned to take the action that you actually want to take. As you may not feel safe to take the action you want to take, that translates to what you believe is self-sabotage or distracting yourself. So how about you ask yourself, instead of, you know, judging yourself that you're sabotaging or that you're distracting yourself, yes, that may appear as such, but maybe you're simply not in union. Not all parts of you are fully on board with what you want to do. Sorry, it's really dark here. So if not all parts of you are on board with what you want to do, maybe check in with yourself and ask yourself, do I not feel safe to some degree to pursue what I want to do, to date or save money or play music or start that business or bring that business forward? Yeah. So look at what parts of you are at odds with each other, so are not in alignment. And that is not to harm you or to make you feel bad. That's just maybe the consequence of you being in that state where you are needing to regulate yourself. So here we are inside where it's more quiet. So basically, think of it like this. One or several parts of you want to move forward and want to go for your life or go for the thing that you want to do or whatever it is. And then there's one or several parts that are like, ooh, that doesn't feel safe. Oh my God, that's so scary. Or we don't deserve that. Or I'm not good enough. Or I'm too much for this. You know, see it like that there's a part or several parts within you that feel either inappropriate to pursue whatever you want to pursue, or unsafe, yeah, or whatever. There may be even another reason. Inappropriate, ashamed, in too much pain, yeah, not safe enough to pursue whatever you want to do. And that can lead to us distracting ourselves and going into those automated nervous system modes, let's call it, that are so ingrained in us. You can imagine it like, you know, your neural pathways, so the pathways in your brain, you can imagine them like ski slopes. And if you've been coping with a certain emotion or a certain experience a certain way for a long time, maybe all your life, this is what you will automatically go down the slope. Yeah, the slope is so well paved, or like the road is so well paved with asphalt, and then you suddenly want to go down a different road. You want to allow yourself to succeed and go for the things that feel authentic to you, but there's fear coming up, for example. So now you want to go down that dirt road that maybe isn't actually a road, yeah? And then your car may not have the right tires to go down that road. Or you go down a new ski slope and there's so much snow and nobody has skied on that path yet. And so, it's going to take some time for that path to be laid out properly, or that road to be driven on. Or you could also imagine it like a new shoe. Sometimes it takes some time, like leather, to really, like a good leather jacket, right? To be really worn out in the way that it fits you. It fits like a glove. It's, yours. And you can apply those very simple examples to your brain, to your mind, and how your automated coping mechanisms and safety mechanisms work. And that is just because if you've done something a long time, you may not even realize that you're doing it. You may not even be aware of you distracting yourself, or you, as many people like to call it, self-sabotaging. It's just an automated way to keep you safe. So if you notice that you're distracting yourself, or that you're not going in the direction that you want to go in, or you've been going in that direction you wanted to go in, but then you feel suddenly like, I can't do it. Or you feel you find excuses or whatever. That is often the threshold to which we move up to, where we still feel safe. And then we are not passing this threshold because maybe we have never been past this threshold. It's unknown. We don't know how we will feel if that happens. And you know what? You will laugh, but it's not just about fearing the negative unknown. Many of us fear the positive unknown. Oh my God, what would I do if I would succeed? What would I do if that person wants to go out with me? What would I do if I would get that job or whatever? Yeah, so often we have that fear of succeeding underneath. So for you, what you can do is journal out, all right, so where's my threshold, right? Like, where am I willing to go to, and then I fall back? Where is that? What is that moment? When does that happen in terms of, okay, let's say you want to start moving more with your body. Maybe the first month you do it, and the second month you do it, and then you stop it. And what is it? Are things going too well? Do you just have no energy? Is your life going a little crazy? Because sometimes it's also just life circumstances and everything getting a little bit too much and overwhelming. And then our nervous system gets dysregulated. And that's when we let stuff go. And you know what? I also want to say it's so normal to fall back. It's human, like often in this self-growth, spiritual world, New Age spirituality, especially, we're getting taught that, we should be so perfect. We should have the perfect body, and we should have the perfect spiritual practice, and we should also all be healers and all that stuff. No, you do you, my friend. You do you. There is no perfect one way. There's your way that fits to your body, your mind, your spirit. And you know what? Like, I passed earlier outside at this hairdresser, and that place seemed just so wonderful, like such good energy. You don't need to be a healer to be spiritual. Not all of us are supposed to be healers and coaches and whatever. If that's your path, you will truly feel called for that. But if your path, your authentic path, is to be, a hairdresser, somebody who makes people feel authentic in their outside, with a cut that works for you, with a color that makes your eyes pop, or whatever, that makes you stand out in your unique way, wow, that's awesome. Somebody who's really caring about their clients, or you want to be, a social worker, or you want to be a musician or an artist or whatever you want to be, as long as it comes from something that makes you from the inside out want to do it, you know what I mean? If it's authentic to you, if it's true for you, that's all that matters. And that's then the most spiritual thing you can do, actually. And you can find your own way of doing it. And I think moving 2 steps forward and 1 step back, and sometimes it may be 1 step forward and 3 steps back, and then 5 steps forward and 2 steps back. It's really important that you allow that process for yourself, because it's human. And this is the exact spiritual experience you're living as your soul on earth, as a human being. And sometimes that means that we feel resistance even to positive change. So the first step is really to notice, oh, I'm distracted, or oh, I'm not following the path that I want to follow. Or I stopped following the path that I want to follow, no matter what your goal or intention is. And already noticing yourself, oh, I think I'm distracting myself right now from what I actually want to do. This is already gold. That's already a lot. And I want you to notice, oh, I've noticed. You know what I mean? Like, don't miss that little win, because this is already bringing awareness to, I'm not doing what I actually want to do. So what am I doing? So often, like I said, we distract ourselves or sabotage ourselves when we feel out of our safety zone or dysregulated in our nervous system. So what you can ask yourself is, okay, I'm distracting myself. I'm not doing what I actually wanted to do. What do I need right now? Yeah, and I say this in so many of my videos. What do I need right now is always a really useful question to ask yourself. And really, if you can, even sit yourself down, take a walk, whatever you need in that moment. Maybe it's a movement, maybe it's stillness, taking a deep breath and just checking in, maybe closing the eyes down and just checking in, what do I need right now? Yeah, like tuning inward rather than gripping outward to your usual coping mechanisms, to the things to feed you something, yeah, and to hope that through that you feel regulated. But what you really regulate through is by checking in, what do I really need? Am I scared to take the next step? Okay, so let's unpack that. Why am I scared? And you could journal, you could just sit and feel, you could be on a walk. It really depends on what helps you get in tune and check in with yourself. Yeah, is it movement? Is it stillness? And then is it journaling or something? And then the next thing I would do is find out, okay, so I am dysregulated. Once you find that out, notice also, okay, what is your usual regulatory response, your automated regulatory response? Is it to fight, to flight, to freeze, or to fawn? And we've talked about this a lot, so check out the other videos if you don't know what I'm talking about. And when you find out, okay, my usual response is to freeze, that's mine when I'm feeling dysregulated. Okay, so I'm freezing, I'm sitting on the couch and binging Netflix or whatever it is for you. Or I flight, so I'm not getting in touch with anybody, I don't want to be seen, I just stay for myself, or I leave without letting anybody know, or I don't respond anymore, whatever it is. Or maybe it's fight, yeah, where you're like getting defensive and you want to defend yourself and all these things. Or maybe you're fawning and you're like, okay, no, and you're over explaining yourself and you're trying to, please everybody. Just notice there's usually 1 or 2 dominating responses that we automatically have when we feel unsafe or dysregulated in general. Notice what is yours, because going there is already super, super, super powerful. And then I can imagine there are also some of you watching right now who are like, okay, yes, and how do I overcome this way of distracting myself? So when that happens, there is resistance coming up from the inside towards even a positive change, like we already established. So that means instead of forcing or judging yourself towards doing something, that checking in with yourself and understanding, okay, what does this part need that is not on board? What does this part need that is not on board? Makes all the difference, because then you can go in a sort of meditative state or work with somebody, with a practitioner. You can work with me if you want or not, up to you. Or you can try the meditation that I have below, which is really powerful when you feel dysregulated and you want to find out what part of you needs support. So check out the meditation below. When you check in with yourself and you understand, okay, that part isn't on board, I'm afraid of this or that, you can close your eyes, take a deep breath, and see if you feel where you feel that discomfort in your body, where you feel that dysregulated part, that fear part in your body. And let's say it's in your chest, or maybe in the beginning it's not so easy for you to make out where it sits in your body, and that's okay too. Like I said, no force, just observation. So maybe you feel it, maybe not. If you feel it somewhere in your body, send a few deep breaths into that place of your body. Put your hand there maybe, or not, whatever feels good. And just imagine that part in front of you. Just imagine, hi, as if you were talking to a friend. Hi, part. I'm sorry that you're angry with me, or I'm sorry that you're sad or afraid or upset. What do you need? And do that as if you were envisioning it, you know. Sometimes it works. Sometimes you need a little more time to get used to that idea of envisioning that part. And when you can also journal it, yeah. And when you get in touch with that part, ask them, what do you need? What are you afraid of? Ask them all these little questions. And sometimes you need to wait a little bit to get an answer. And the answer will for sure not come from your head. The answer will come from your body. That's why it's very helpful to, breathe a little, meditate a little, get in touch with your body, maybe soft movement, whatever helps you opening up to the body. And as you get in touch with that part probably needs a bit of a healing. So what do I mean by that? That part probably needs to, once you ask that part, what do you need? Maybe it is a hug. Maybe it is, going slower. Maybe it is to say sorry because you've been forcing yourself to push through, or you've been judging yourself really harshly. So then you can envision meeting that part with compassion and giving that part a hug, or hugging yourself in that sense. Or giving that part, envisioning to give that part, like in a movie, what that part needs. And also let that part be felt. So if fear is coming up, allow yourself to feel that fear. Don't be afraid to feel those emotions, because once you feel it through, let it move through you. Don't stop it. Let it move through you like a wave. Sometimes it helps when you breathe slowly in deep breaths, or you put on a song that helps you get into an emotional state. No matter what it is, if it's fear, if it's anger, if it's shame, see if you can allow yourself and practice. That sometimes doesn't work just one time. Sometimes you need a few times to feel it through. Yeah? Feel it through, and then you will already feel a change, and you will already feel the next time you distract yourself, you're like, oh, I'm distracting myself, so let me check in with myself where I'm feeling afraid to take the next step. Yeah? So that's what self-sabotage is all about. It's not to harm you by you. It's actually more a protection mechanism. It's a part of you protecting you from harm that either you're afraid of ever experiencing, that you've witnessed in others' experiences, or that you've experienced to some degree to some degree, sometimes the experiences are unrelated, but the mechanism is the same underneath. So maybe you've experienced something that you're afraid of now in the past. So maybe you can connect the dots and remember, when have I felt like this before? When have I, what is the underlying belief that holds you back from that creates that resistance from taking a certain action forward? Yeah. Is it, like I said in the beginning, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve this, I'm too much, I've never earned so much money, nobody in my family ever was an artist, productivity has to look this way, get a little bit, become the detective of your own subconscious. That's what I want to say. And then you will notice, oh, there's no sabotage here. There is just a part that wants to keep me safe because it knows what happened before, or it got ingrained a certain belief, or there is a certain emotion stuck inside of me that I don't want to experience again. And that's why I keep myself from moving forward. Yeah. So I hope that helps you, because for me, understanding that helped me a ton. And recently, some people asked me about, because I had on Instagram a self-sabotage video, but I think something didn't work out with the video. So I wanted to just redo the topic here on YouTube, because it's a really important topic and we should not try to run away from it, because again, it's not about harming ourselves, or it's not about that we're not like judging ourselves. When we understand the underlying reasoning of our inner parts, we get to understand that all we do is to protect ourselves in some way or another, even if it doesn't make sense. But imagine, most of these protection layers, mechanisms, have been created when you didn't have the intellect or the maturity of an adult. You were a child, and then you can also create, if you have a hard time having compassion with that part of you, think of it this way. Maybe back then, that was the smartest thing that you could have done. That was, the only or the best way that you could have protected yourself. So it's actually about saying thank you to that part, and thank you for keeping me safe for so long. And now, are you okay if I take over, if like the adult me takes over and I keep you, the part, safe? So let me hug you here. Let me say thank you for finding this way to make me feel protected for so long. And now we're going to choose another way, and I'm going to make you feel safe. Yeah. So that helps often. Everybody has a bit of a different version of that. So it's not one way fits all, but I hope that this explanation helps you inquire for yourself how this translates to your unique situation. Okay? I love you. Have a beautiful rest of your day. And I see you in another video.